Well, I found me a flint head to work, and it looks like there's plenty of room to dig back and get into that little bit more solid, bigger stuff. So we'll see. And then there's a hole over here where somebody's digging under the tree. I don't like to dig under the tree, but that's where the good stuff is, and there's some looking right there. So this is where I got a lot last year, right in that spot. So, and then it looks like, it's been buried in where I was digging, so might need to shovel, but I'm going to go for this hole first, see what I find. Hopefully it's worth digging. See how this Flintridge is. This boulder is turned on its side. This chalky looking stuff is the top. Down in here is the bottom. So as long as I can dig along here, I can get some good stuff out of here. And it looks like there's some decent colors and some cracks that I can work with to get this stuff out. Now, the worst case scenario is I'll walk around today. There are tons of 2.5 inch pieces laying around. I'll get 4 or 5 buckets full of them, heat treat them, sell them for $3 a piece to make my trip over here worth it, because it costs a good bit of money to come over here. Okay, here's what I got. Here's the top. Comes down and around, and I dug down there until I hit dirt again. So the size of my boulder, I don't know how far back in the bank it goes, but I've got this outside. This is all not good. This middle's going to be good, and now I'm underneath. I can get into it from different angles and hopefully get some good stuff out of the middle. You can see I got a big crack started right there. Hopefully this all comes out, and that's good flint underneath there. Cross your fingers. Alright, I got that big piece loose. Now we got to see if there's any good flint in it. Now here's a good example you can see of the nethers. Comes out in one big piece, but it seems, and if you have a saw, you saw that and you get big pieces, but sometimes when you go to knap them, they don't work so good. I busted into the smaller pieces that I know could knap. Big piece, and you can see got a seam there and a seam there, but this is going to split into 3 big tabs, which will be pretty nice. It's all 12 inches long, 5 inches thick. Okay, we got through some clunky stuff, and now this is good and bad. This down here is all solid, but that makes it very hard to get into. So I got to clear this top off and go back in until I find a seam that I can get behind and push it out. So this is more like what you normally get, although it's a big piece for nethers. It's solid. It does have a seam in it, but it's a solid piece. It peeled out of there in one piece, and you can see that there's no coloring between those 2 layers. So even though this has seams, it's going to be solid. And if you cook it slow, it'll be some nice stuff. When you get in the right position and on top of the seams, you can hit straight in and peel this flint off. And this right here is all crunchy stuff. There might be a few small pieces in it. Put it off to the side. But what we want is the stuff down in. Like this piece. It has some seams, but they're all healed because they're on the inside. So that's a good piece too. Might come out with a couple 100 pounds today out of this one boulder. Another giant solid piece. I didn't plan on this, but it looks like I'm going to take this whole boulder. I brought my checkbook, so money's no problem. This is all high grade chalcedony. It'll turn wonderful colors and white and stuff when it's cooked. Colors in there. This piece isn't really worth keeping because it's at the top and it's got a lot, but I'm getting right there. All of that is going to have these colors, these browns and oranges and blues and greens. It's going to be really good. Dug all this. When I got here, you could see all this was buried over that, like hiding it, like somebody was coming back, but they didn't. And I'm finding that up there is pretty crumbly, but as I come down and go down into the ground here, it's getting into big solid pieces. So I'm digging the ground back and I'm clearing out all this clutter, and I'm going to try and find the end and dig down under so I can, just like knapping, hit on the edge and peel that stuff off. The seams also are vertical under this cap rock, vertical, and then when they hit that layer, they go horizontal, and they go from being like this thick to that thick, horizontally and wide. And you can see that's all high color good stuff. When I cook that, that's going to be amazing. You know, that's going to be awesome, beautiful chunk there. I definitely got to get me a slab saw. See all that blue and green? That's the center of the lollipop, and I got to get it. Get this cap off and get behind it. Look, it's all going to be blue and red and brown, which will all turn yellows and greens and stuff when I cook it. As soon as I get that cap off, start peeling down. My pile over there will double, about 80 pounds right now. But that one big giant piece right there is junk, so it's not going anywhere. But all the rest are clean. Stuff right there, that's what we're going for. Clear this off, peel them out. Probably another stack that big over beside it. And then I still got to work down, because down is all the stuff that turns to like white marble with colors in it. Good stuff. All right, we'll set the camera up. We almost got this cap off. It's busting open and there's so many colors in here. You know, little lapidary pieces all over the place. I don't know if I'm gonna bother with them or not, but I want to get to that center, and I gotta keep going. And I can tell you, if I had a backhoe, it would be a lot easier, but I don't. I don't know if you can see it, but that whole piece is shaking. And the good thing about doing it this way, look at that. Look at that. Throw them in the bucket. Is wherever it's going to crack in the seam. Look right here. All blue, red, green, all through there. Wherever it's going to crack, like the seams, they will actually crack open. Let's see if I can get my bar in here. Pry this thing apart. Not yet. Get my bucket over here. See, this is how the pieces come out. So when you say, oh, I want a 12-inch whatever, you can't get it. But that is a good piece, solid. Look at this. Got to get my bar in there and do some prying. Oh, there we go. You ready for the reveal? Here goes the cap. Now you see, underneath all this vuggy stuff, this is where the colors are, because this is all the minerals. And so The further you get, the less color there is, but it's better flint. But this is all the minerals. And that makes all the pieces. All the pieces, like, look at that. I can't tell you how beautiful that's going to be once it's cooked. Same there. I mean, it's a messed up piece, but tap them. Tap off the loosey stuff. And the rest is solid. Once you cook that, it'll make a nice arrowhead. Looky there. Now that's a pretty nice. You see, that's why you got to test them. But look at that: blue, green, red, orange, brown. Got to keep that piece. All these little pieces. That's good stuff. I think my buddy Jamie sells the lapidary guys, so he might want. But you can see when you tap that, it don't come apart. And the way I drove that in like a hammer, a jackhammer, any weak seams, you can see they all came apart. So if you cook this real slow, it'll hold together and it'll be decent. Beautiful stuff. Look at that piece. Not worth keeping. See, that's the test. Bugs. Okay, the rest is too, I don't want to miss the forest, which is right here. This is some big stuff right here. I don't want to miss that for, looking at that little stuff. So now we got behind this, and we start the same process again. And you can see where all the pieces, the seams that are going to break on you, come apart. And you got to take that stuff. That's a beautiful. I mean, to me, yeah, you're not making no, 9-inch dovetail or whatever, but beautiful stuff. And then we always got to do a little test because the colors don't last forever. See, like that one's back to some modelly looking. Right under that cap is the best color. See, looky there. Look at that. I'm sure someone was planning on coming back to this because it was buried. I don't know if they ran out of time or whatever, but I always dig the buried pits. Look, amazing. And what I do is I find a spot with some thin seams that aren't really worth any trouble, and that's where I head in and I pound into. Now you can't see it, but this whole thing is going to flop off. Possibly. Whew. Break time. All right, I might have to do some knocking. Get up under it better. Oh. I'm gonna bring you over and show you this. Look at that. See, this color stuff is what gives you the color. The nasty, chalky top is where the colors come from. So, try and put you back here so you can watch me. Yeah. Whew. I want this to fall, then I'm not filming anymore. Getting there. I can see this crack, the seams opening up. Oh, I gotta pick up this good stuff so it doesn't get lost. But looky there. I got a special bucket for that. In case you couldn't hear it. The pile's over there. This stuff is going in the special bucket. Let's see if we can pry it out. There's a giant piece right there. Not yet. Let's do another attack at the top. Hi. I didn't get any more crystals yet. I'll give you a yell when I do. Now looky there, guys. One solid piece. Well, I'll knock this little crabbiness off. See there? Always tap it. Now that is good. The piece I knocked off is pretty good too. Let me see. Now looky. Now that's a tiny piece, but there's no way that blue and that orange there is going to really pop. There we go. Awesome sauce. Solid. And I'm going to stop filming on that. Rest of the time out, I'm just digging today. I got a lot of work to do. Not even cooked, guys. My camera doesn't do it justice.